again to another segment of the Nick and Jack Show. I am Jack alongside my good friend Nick. Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm alright, man.
Yeah?
I'm alright.
Yeah, how's school been going?
School's great.
Yeah?
Baseball's aight.
Yeah?
I'm just excited to get back in here. It's been a
Hectic couple weeks.
Very weeks.
Hectic, yeah.
Pretty much the whole semester. Like, we haven't been able to crank these out as much as we'd like to, but the last couple weeks have been a little busy, but now we're back.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, no technical difficulties.
Yep.
We got the camera charged. We got the H4N, what I call the boom box. We got it all good. And we got a great interview with Bekkah Pennington, women's track and field star, coming in today. So, yeah, it should be a good show.
Absolutely, yeah, it's going to be a great show.
So what do you got for us, Jim?
All right, kicking it off, let's go with some women's lacrosse. Women's lacrosse has been doing all right as of late, but they had a tough loss last Friday against Franciscan in a conference matchup. They lost 21-11, but the Cougars were led by Carrie Carr with 7 goals. So, as I think we've been saying on a lot of these podcasts, we're going to be saying her name, I feel, for the most part, the rest of the year. She's definitely one of the better players on the team, and she's been playing really, really well as of late. Now over to the men's side. Men are actually doing very well. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They're 3-0 in the conference. In their last 2 conference games, they've absolutely put on a whooping of the other teams. So last Friday they took on Franciscan also.
Whooping.
A whooping, yeah. That's going to be my new word. And they beat Franciscan last week 20-3.
Franciscan. Yeah. You know, it's good to see that they're winning, but it's also a lot more exciting to see that they're winning against good teams. You know, not talking about Franciscan. I've heard they aren't one of the higher tiers. But you know, at the beginning of the season, they were off to a really hot start against some teams that I guess kind of just...
They were just average.
Subpar,
yeah.
But you know, you look at them, they're playing W&J, beat them 14-13. Heck of a game too. I think they beat them like with a couple seconds left.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was 13-13. Apparently W&J scored with 30 seconds left, and then Chatham just came right back and scored right before the buzzer. So that was an exciting one. Definitely good to see it against W&J too.
Yeah.
Who likes W&J?
Exactly. And a conference foe, you know?
Exactly.
Exactly. And when you come up with playoffs and then you take them on in the playoffs, you know, you have that under your belt already that you took them down in the regular season. So
respect where respect is due.
Absolutely.
You know, W&J is a great school, both academically and for a lot of their sports. You know, I remember going back to basketball, we played the game against W&J, one of the most exciting games I've ever been to. But
baseball, they always do very well.
Baseball, they're very good at baseball. Yeah, we had we'll get into it later in the show a little more. We had a couple rough games against them. Should have had at least one of the wins. We were very close, and then it just got away from us, and that seems to be the tale of our team. But yeah,
well,
let's get back to the
we'll get back to the cross.
high note stuff.
So Cougars were led that game by Kyle Rowland, as usual, 4 goals, and Jake Brown also pitched in 3 goals himself. And Jake Brown was named the PAC Rookie of the Week. So congratulations, Jake. Nice job. Been playing very well, very crafty. Really like watching both Kyle and Jake play. I think they play really well off of each other. So definitely look for those two throughout the rest of this year. Heading over to some softball action now.
Let's hear it. Softball is killing it right now, and it's great to see. You know, they had a little bit of a rough Myrtle Beach trip, so as did we. So we kind of thought, is it going to be a repeat of last year? But these last couple weeks, they've really shown us that it's a different team, and that's really exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely showed last night. They took on Waynesburg. Doubleheader matchup late night, and they took both games. Both games they beat the Waynesburg first game 3-1, and then they beat them 9-2.
Jackie Boy here was on the
mic
too.
It was a late night to be on the mic for sure.
Front row seats.
Front row seats right behind the backstop, so it was always nice.
They split with Geneva last week too, so that.
Hey, 3-4 in your last 4 games. That's really good, especially as the season's winding down. And conference play is really starting to kick up.
3-3 in conference, and the thing about it is they don't have to have a killer schedule to make the playoffs for softball. You know, it's not like other sports. They're 3-3. If they keep it up like this, they could be looking at a playoff bid, and that's awesome to see. They've been working hard. A lot of great players on that team, and you know, we practice same field as them, so we've been seeing them put in the work, so it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me that I've noticed from last year's team to this year's team is just simply hitting. They've been able to put heads together.
Lot of new people.
Yeah, they've added a lot of new people, and people from last year are starting to step up and get some really big hits. One name that comes to mind is Katie Warwood. She had an okay last year, but this year she's been playing very well, hitting really, really well, came up with a couple big hits last night, drove in some runs. So I think that it's on the up and up for the softball team, especially not only this year, but in coming years too, because they have a lot of young players also.
Exactly. And, there's a lot of returners, a lot of new people. A couple names I see, Katie Warwood, who we've mentioned a couple times. Marissa Whiteman, she's 20 for 59. So you look at these high at-bats, it's easy to get a 500 average.
Yeah,
if
1 for 6. Yeah.
But I'm seeing this, Marissa right now batting 339 and 59 at-bats. Right above her, Jenna Mullett, she's 13 for 33. So not as many at-bats, but still, that's a good sample size. She's batting 394. And the leader in hits, Katie Warwood, 26 hits and 66 at-bats. So she's batting 394. So they have some girls on this team doing some really amazing things. So it's not
very exciting.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that some wins are being followed by these statistics. So it's exciting.
Very exciting. So Nikki, you want to hop on over to some baseball?
Well, let's see. Well, how about let me see what you think of this.
Yeah.
You want to do some baseball right after the interview, so we have a little bit of a.
If you want to, yeah.
We'll let you finish it off with the interview.
It's up to you, man. It's your day. It's your world. We're all just living in it.
You know what? Let's just do
some baseball
right now.
I know it's on your mind. I know you want to talk about it.
Oh man, I do not want to talk. I'm kidding. I love baseball. Man, it is rough. We are on a 17-game losing streak. We haven't won since Myrtle Beach, and I've said it so many times throughout our podcast about how our problem last year was we lost games in the 7th inning or later, and that's exactly how it is. We had Waynesburg last week. We were winning 2-0. We scored 2 runs in the first inning. Rest of the game went scoreless. So bottom of the 9th, they scored 2 to tie it, and then they scored 1 in the 10th to go ahead. So all we needed was 3 outs to get our first dub, and we just couldn't finish out the game. We had Teal yesterday. The first game we scored 1 run in the first. And a guy I got to talk about, my roommate, Paul Nussbaum, and I mentioned this to him. It seems like we only score when he gets on first because he led off the game with a hit. And one thing we really believe in is get him on, get him over, get him in. So get him on base, get him over, hit him in. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we did. Paul got a base hit to get on base. Our shortstop, Ryan Shawley, bunted him over. Finally got a bunt down. We've been giving him a hard time about that. He was excited.
I was never a good bunter. I never liked bunting.
Yeah.
I was always afraid of my fingers being too close, and I had it happen one time, and ever since then it was kind of scarred forever.
It was just pretty funny because he missed a couple bunts, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I can see it on his face. You never want to see a teammate go through that.
Yeah.
But he got a key bunt down. We all gave him a hard time in the dugout. He loved it. But so he got the bunt down, and then Caleb Lehman drove him in, which wasn't a surprise.
Right.
Caleb. Doing Caleb.
Yeah. Well, Nick, what do you think is the main issue? What do you think is attributed to you guys not being able to finish out games?
See that? I don't know. That's kind of hard for me to talk about because I know we have a lot of great pitching. We have a lot of great relief pitchers. Injuries are really killing us right now.
Yeah.
We're missing a couple good pitchers that could really help us out.
Scarcella, he's still out.
Johnny being gone, I think, has been one of the. Not to give him a big head or anything, it's been one of the worst things to happen to this team because if you look at our 3 wins in Myrtle, a lot of them came down to he got some key hits.
Yeah.
I remember we were playing. Who was it? I can't remember what the team name was. Give me just a second.
Sure.
We were playing Eastern University. We won 10-6, and we were tied at the time. Johnny was sick behind the dugout from something. And my other roommate, Payman, went up and said, "Hey, Johnny, you're on deck." Comes in and he hits a double.
Wow.
He hits a game time go-ahead double. So that's the kind of guy he is, man. He's going to get you those clutch hits. Mm-hmm. And he got hurt the day before our last day in Myrtle, and he played the W&J doubleheader at W&J, but he hasn't been the same since. And I know he's really itching to get back on the field, and we really miss him on the field, but
and his bat in the lineup too. He's been hitting the ball very well.
That's the main thing we miss, man. He's a great player. He's got a solid bat, one of the best bats on the team. And him being out for pretty much the entire season so far has been a real kick to the stomach.
Yeah.
But other than that, I got to give a shout out to our starting pitching. Brian Crawford pitched yesterday, the first game, held him to. Well, I can look really quick. He came in. I think he got a couple earned runs because he left a couple guys on base when we switched it out when they tied. But man, he pitched 6 and like a third fantastic innings. Ando, I know you and me talked about it. We had him on the show last week, a couple weeks ago. Ando pitched a
great game against W&J.
It was like I can't even find the word to describe it against W&J, the best team in the conference. He pitched a fantastic game, and unfortunately, we just couldn't get the run support, and it's really sad to see. But our starting pitching is doing great. Our relief pitching is doing good, and we're not having a problem getting the runners on. It's just we're not having the best at bats with runners in scoring position. We're not having a lot of quality at bats with these guys on base, So yesterday, all in all, was just a rough day.
Yeah.
But who do we have next? We play this Friday night.
You play Grove City.
We play Grove City at Grove. Yeah, we play at Grove City, and then This Saturday we got Grove City at home, a doubleheader.
Be there, be square.
Be there, be square. It's at Westfield at 1 p.m. 1 and 3, so probably about like 1 and 3:30. But yeah, so we're hoping to get back on the winning grind against Grove City, and then we actually have Teal again, who we lost to this weekend. Which they're not an unbeatable team. Like we had them in the first game, and then the second game we just pooped the bed.
Yeah.
But we got Grove City this weekend, Teal again on Monday, and then we have Bethany next week. So we're winding down the season, and I'm not going to say our playoff hopes are gone, but we'd almost have to win out at this point.
Right. Well, hey, finish strong. You got 13 games left. You guys just finish really strong.
It kind of brings me back to like our first year, not last year, but our first year when we weren't playing in conference yet. We finished the season with a 7-game winning streak, and it was just exciting,
Yeah.
So if we can do that, maybe we can get a bid for the playoffs. But right now, it's not looking so hot. But first things first, we just got to get that first conference.
Yeah,
win,
just get a win and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but like, what have you seen? I mean, you're announcing our games. You've obviously been keeping up with the stats.
Yeah.
What have you seen that? Because I'm kind of biased, I'm
Yeah,
on the team, so it's hard for me to talk about that all the time.
Right. No, I think for me, that I've noticed is it's not, like you said, it's not really getting guys on base, it's getting those guys, it's driving those runs in.
Exactly.
I think that you guys are doing half of it, and then it's kind of like falling apart.
Yeah.
So, but I will say, like you said, the pitching's been really good. The pitching's been very good. Starting pitching's been great. Ando's been doing awesome.
He had like one off game, but other than that, he's been pretty much lights out.
Yeah.
That's awesome to see.
And I think what's also very important is that there's some first-year guys that are stepping up and kind of trying to take somewhat of a leader role. And sometimes on some teams, that is sometimes needed. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need a younger guy to come in and say, hey, like, and shake you and wake you up, like, hey, like, we need to get ourselves together and like figure it out. But I feel like you guys have a lot of talent.
We do.
You guys have a lot of very good players. I just also think that there's some guys in your lineup that aren't hitting that great. And I mean, it happens, and guys go through slumps, but it's what they do besides that. Are they fielding well? If a guy's not hitting well and fielding well, and he's not getting on base, not having quality at bats, I want to give a shout out to another roommate of yours, Tyler Payman. He's been hitting the ball very well.
He has.
Last couple games, coming into the lineup, DHing, doing his thing.
It's awesome to see.
Tyler Payman, nice job.
Because like before yesterday, I'm a little fuzzy about what he did yesterday, but before yesterday, he had come in his last 8 at bats. He was 4 for 8. So in his finally he got a couple starts, went 4 for 8, batting .500. So that's awesome. It was good to see him kind of heat up and just hit the way that I know he can. Because like he's been like my go-to guy since I've been on campus, and I put in just hours and hours of work with that guy. So it's been frustrating for me seeing how he can hit and then watching him play and him not hitting the way we all know he can.
Right.
But this past like week and a half to 2 weeks or so, he's really been showing us what he's about, and that's awesome. So shout out to, I call him Paywad.
Yeah, shout out to Paywad.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, we're looking to get back for Grove City this week, but other than that, I don't think we have a lot more
Yeah.
baseball to talk about. We got a great interview with Bekkah Pennington coming on in about 10 minutes. She's coming in here.
Yeah.
And
it'll be a great one.
It'll be a
another
great
great
story.
interview. Yeah.
First female athlete up in here.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Stick around.
Definitely. What's up, everybody? We're back. We have Bekkah Pennington here, star track and field.
Yeah.
runner.
Absolutely tearing it up on the track
Tearing it
and
up.
in the cross country too.
Both. Yep, we talk about it a lot, so let's just dive right in. Jack, what do you
First
got?
and foremost, welcome. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. So first question for me I have is, I guess I just realized it this morning, but your transition from cross country to track, you're running on two different surfaces. Did you find that challenging to transition from one to the other in how you run or your pacing, or did you find it pretty easy to transition?
Since most of our workouts are still pretty similar for both, it wasn't a huge transition, but I noticed I've been struggling a bit this season with more shin and calf pain since we're constantly running on the harder surface of the track. But despite that, usually my pacing is about the same and our workouts are pretty similar.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Very cool.
So is it pretty much the same squad for cross country as it is for track and field?
Yes, in terms of distance runners.
Yeah.
Almost everyone, there's a few girls that don't do track, however, most of the distance runners do it, and we all still do distance events.
Okay. And do you guys kind of train the same way for cross country and track and field, or is there kind of a different routine?
We train about the same. We do easy runs 3 days a week, 2 day a week workouts, then usually a meet, then a long run on Sunday.
Okay, gotcha. And your kind of expertise so far is the long run, am I right?
Yes.
Long run. All right, gotcha. So, we've talked a lot about you going into how you've kind of broken Chatham records, pack records, you went to nationals. What's your mentality going into each race, or do you just kind of go in and run?
I kind of just go and run most races, but I'm also pretty competitive, so usually when I'm racing, I just naturally want to race.
Gotcha.
It's definitely a mindset.
Yeah. Well, with all the success you've had, your face has been plastered everywhere. I'm sure that's kind of whoa, I've never had that before. But have you thought at all about, you've done incredibly well this year, you've gone to nationals and everything. Have you thought about, making a jump to another division, or are you happy with Division 3?
I'm pretty happy with D3. I got before coming to Chatham. I had a lot of D2 offers, and I did get one D1 offer, and I just fell in love with Chatham, and that's kind of my main reason for coming here. Wasn't necessarily to run; it's kind of just a benefit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What's it been like seeing your face just everywhere? Kind of you're
especially back when during nationals.
Yeah.
I remember it was all over
everywhere.
Chatham Cougar, Instagram, Twitter. They had cutouts of your face and the AFC.
It's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's funny.
Kind of walk in that's okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
So what was the experience of nationals like? We've never experienced anything like that. So it's got to be really interesting for you coming in your first year in college, going to nationals. What was that like?
Yeah, it was probably one of the craziest experiences of my life because I kind of paired, I'm qualified for states in high school, but that was kind of almost the size of our regional meet.
Really?
The national meet was just so much bigger, and there's obviously a lot faster competition in a lot of larger numbers, and it was kind of weird to see how everything was set up and everything was so
Really?
official and stuff.
Where were these nationals held again?
They were in Wisconsin.
Okay, so that's not too
No,
far.
it's not too far.
I
No.
imagine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So did you get some cool accommodations, they would take real good care of you? Because I know, when you go to the NCAA tournament for basketball, they take very good care of you. I'm assuming it's probably the same idea.
Yeah, we definitely got a bunch of free stuff. They had a banquet and all this stuff.
That's really
That's
cool.
really
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That's
Well,
really
hey,
cool. Jack, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else. You got anything else, Nick?
I think we're good. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Because I know a lot of people are just interested in your story. That's one thing we've been trying to focus on. Not just saying the stats and all that jazz, but kind of just figuring out who these athletes really are. And you have a really interesting story coming in your first year and just having this much success.
I'd say it's just definitely a mindset. Running is more of a mental game, I'd say, than physical. So it's just putting yourself in the position to push yourself harder.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, thank you for coming
Yeah,
on. We
thank you
appreciate it.
very
I know
much.
you're probably
Thank you.
very busy, but congrats on all the success and good luck this weekend going to Bucknell. So do great, and you're gonna keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. What's up, everybody? We are back. We just had an awesome interview with Bekkah Pennington. You know, like I said in the interview, one thing we're trying to focus on is not just the athlete and their statistics and what they do here at Chatham, but just kind of what their story is, what drove them to Chatham, what's keeping them here. Because nothing against Chatham, but I'm actually kind of surprised that for an athlete that's had so much success at the D3 level, pretty much, unless you win nationals, like if she would have won nationals, she would have won pretty much everything you can accomplish at the D3 level. So it just kind of baffles me that, like, if you're that far, why wouldn't you think about moving up to the D2 and D1 level, especially if she has the options available. But that's awesome that she found the place she loves and she's gonna stick with it here at Chatham, and that's good for Chatham because they have some good publicity with her.
And they've got a great runner. Like we said, she's going to Bucknell. She qualified for an event at Bucknell this weekend. So, you know, again, Bekkah, good luck this weekend. But yeah, I mean, track and field actually has a meet this Saturday at Westminster also.
Not that far away. Go check it out.
Yeah, please. It's all day. There'll be races all throughout the day. I think the race schedule comes out Wednesday or Thursday, today or tomorrow, something like that. But yeah, it was a great interview. And like Nick said, you know, we want to learn more about these athletes. You know, not like Nick said, just about the stats and the accomplishments, but who they are and kind of, you know, fun facts about them or whatever that they, you know, want to share about themselves. It's just, you know, we want everyone to know who these athletes are that we're talking about.
Also, I gotta throw in my little spiel. Follow us, Nick and Jack Show, Instagram, Twitter. We're trying to be a lot more engaging. We got some polls coming up, like we've been talking about giveaways. The giveaway is in rotation. It's coming up this week for maybe a T-shirt or something. We're gonna try to see if we can't get you a gift card or something like that. But yeah, we got a lot of action coming at you. A lot of behind the scenes looks. So you know, you pretty much get what you get if you watch the podcast. But if you follow us on social media, you get the beautiful behind the scenes of Nick and Jack.
Yeah, just like the essence of us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, we're gonna have a couple big announcements coming in the next maybe 2 weeks or so, just kind of about where the Nick and Jack Show plans to go. We got a lot of big plans, a lot of things in the works, and we're really excited to share that with you guys because we're both going to be in Pittsburgh, you know, Steel City. We love it.
Absolutely, the steel curtain, so can't get away from it.
Cannot, so we're hanging around for a little bit. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, any questions, hit us up, Instagram, Twitter, at the Nick and Jack Show. And
that's all I got.
I think that's all we got. Again, we got we got some softball, baseball, lacrosse action this week. We got track and field. But other than that, I think just one thing remains. Roll Cougs.